Hello chess fans, I hope you're having a nice weekend wherever you are. Today I bring you an exciting game from round 17 of the ongoing 2019 Elite Team Championships in China. This is the match between Shanghai Super Grandmaster Sun Yongzheng and Beijing Grandmaster Lu Weitao. This is quite a complicated and strategic battle. I hope you guys will stay with me till the end. The game opens with the center cannon. Black develops the horse, and we get a classical screening horse defense against Red's center cannon. Now, both sides pushes their 7th pawn, and the Red Chariot charges immediately across the river, restricting the movement of Black's pieces. Black offers to trade chariots to relieve the pressure. This is the standard classical approach to this position. Red declines, and Black retreats the cannon, preparing to attack the Red Chariot on the 7th file. And now, whoa! The quick charge of the center pawn. This leads to the most aggressive lines in this opening, as Red is basically going straight for the attack of the Black King. Fireworks are about to appear on the board. Black raises the advisor, a standard defensive move to blunt the attack of Red's center cannon. Red pushes the center pawn yet again in an attempt to break open the position, and we see the point of this if Black captures the red pawn. Red can simply develop the horse, and in the future, the Red Chariot can quickly switch files to capture this pawn and attack Black's horse. In the game, Black moves the cannon to the 7th file. This is a standard approach to attack the Red Chariot and seek counterplay along the 7th file. The Red Chariot sidesteps, and now Black pushes his own pawn to exploit the weakness of the Red's horse and elephant, and we see why this opening is so tricky to play even at the top level, because both sides are ready to sacrifice their pieces at any moment for these checkmating attacks. In this position, it is worth pointing out that the main line for Red is the advancement of the horse to the center, with the idea of advancing forward to attack Black's horse. Black normally plays the pawn takes pawn and seeking its own counterplay by capturing the red pawn, and we get an extremely complicated position. This line was first played around the 1980s or perhaps even earlier, before the two players were even born. Back to the actual game, Red here plays pawn takes pawn instead, on the 3rd file. This is a move which appeared only later on, as advancements were made in the theory of this position. Traditionally, this recapture was not a popular option, as it slows down the pace of Red's attack, and it in turn speeds up Black's counterplay. But of course, theory has changed a lot since those days where players had no engines to work with. Now, Black chooses to respond with the classical mainline, developing the elephant, solidifying the center file, and preparing to develop the right chariot via the 4th file at the right moment. Red plays the p5 to the 4th file. This is a curious move indeed. Let's count the number of steps that Red has spent on pawn moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Red has made 5 pawn moves, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 moves with the heavy pieces. What is wrong with these top players? Did they not learn that, as all beginners do, that spending too much time on the pawns in the opening is bad? Well, of course not. This pawn move is in fact an interesting approach that seeks to blunt the potential counterplay and restrict the movement of Black's cannon and horse on the 7th file, and claim that Red is just up by a strong pawn. Black chooses to gain control of the crucial pawn rank, potentially attacking Red's undeveloped left side. Now Red chooses to move the pawn, with the threat of advancing the pawn to attack Black's horse at the right moment. And now Black pushes the pawn on the 3rd file, a dynamic move that breaks open the structure for Black along the 3rd file, and potentially exploiting Red's lack of development on the left side. Red chooses to capture the pawn, and now we see the point is not to recapture the red pawn with the elephant, but with the Black Chariot, which now has a double attack on the red pawn and the red elephant. In the game, Red chooses to push the pawn on the 3rd file, but it's worth pointing out that the main option for Red here at top level is to play this move, testing Black's response. Certainly Black is not forced to capture this pawn immediately, but if Black does, then Red has the option of exchanging the cannon for the Black horse, and after this exchange, the development of the red horse, Red actually has a better position here, as there is later compensation for the pressure on Black's horse along the 3rd file for Red. Back to the actual game. In the actual game, Red pushes the pawn, a subtle move ordered by Red here. This move directly attacks the Black horse, and Black chooses to retreat the horse. But it's worth noting that Black in fact had the option of capturing the red pawn as well, and this would have led to an interesting position, a sacrifice. And now Black has the option of advancing the horse, attacking the chariot, and the Red Chariot moves to attack the cannon, and the cannon takes the pawn. And this position is playable for Black as well. Although Black is down a piece, his pieces are quite active. In the game, the Black horse simply retreated, and Red moves the cannon to the 6th file, an interesting move that has been played before, in particular by Shanghai Grandmaster Xie in 2012. This move by Red leaves both the red pawn and elephant unprotected still, but Red's idea is to develop the horse onto the 7th file and achieve a harmonious structure with a strong pawn up. If Black chooses to take the elephant, then Red has the option of playing cannon to the 7th file, attacking Black's horse, and this capture, by the way, will come with a tempo against the Black Chariot. There is no comfortable way for black to protect the horse. If the horse retreats, then simply chariot takes the center pawn and red has a much better position. In the actual game, black played cannon takes pawn, threatening to capture red's elephant with check. This move has never been played before, and based on what happened later on in the game, this move certainly feels a bit loose, and perhaps a sign that black is not at all familiar with this position. A better alternative would be to capture the red pawn instead, preparing to advance the horse or develop the chariot onto the 4th file, and this is playable for black. After the retreat of this horse, and red plays the cannon move, black chooses to take the pawn, and now red simply advances the horse, and only now black chooses to recapture the red pawn. Red develops the horse, and now we see that red is in time to bring all his pieces into the game, and the black cannon is just a mimic in this position. In the actual game, black tries to seek some counterplay by bringing the right black cannon across the river, preparing to check in the middle. Red simply raises the advisor, a very good prophylactic move to defend against the black cannon moving to the center with check. Black plays center cannon anyway, threatening to capture the red horse as the red center cannon is being pinned. Red simply sidesteps to release the pin and create his own attacking possibilities on the 4th file, after the red horse captures the center black pawn in the future. Despite black's best efforts, the black cannons do not have any real attacking force, and perhaps the best move now is to play the black cannon to the 8th file, hoping for some tricks. But in the game, black chose to advance the chariot, with the idea to sidestep horse capture center pawn, with tempo on black's chariot. But here, what does red play? Red plays horse takes pawn anyway, a calculated move indeed. Black does not wish to recapture, obviously, as after the cannon takes horse, there is the checkmating threat of chariot takes advisor with the famous iron board checkmate. If the king sidesteps, then the red chariot develops with tempo, and the idea is to raise the chariot to attack the vulnerable black king, and this slides out for black. In the actual game, black did not take the red horse, but chooses to advance the black horse and attack red's chariot, hoping to delay red's attack. But now the red chariot simply retreats, kept gaining a tempo on the black horse, and now black has the option of advancing the horse, indeed. But in the actual game, black simply chooses to move the cannon to the 3rd file in an attempt to trade off as many pieces as possible. In this position, red's pieces are in fact well placed for attack, and there is a decisive move for red. Feel free now to pause the video to find it if you like. Alright, if you have guessed the move, horse retreats to the 7th file, then congratulations, you are very good indeed. This move is very powerful, as black cannot take the horse, because now simply chariot takes advisor with checkmate. If black chooses to capture the horse, then this horse can go for a check against the black king. And now if the advisor takes the horse, chariot takes advisor with check, and then chariot takes black chariot, and red has a winning position. In the game, red did not see this move, instead simply chooses to capture the black horse, which is also a decent move, although not as decisive as the horse retreat, which could have ended the game immediately. Black captures the red horse, and red chooses to trade cannons immediately to prevent the black cannon and chariot from gaining control of the pawn rank. And now red chooses to retreat, gaining a tempo on the black cannon, a refined move, gaining control of his own pawn rank. Black cannon retreats, and the red cannon threatens the black cannon again. And now that all of red's pieces are protected, red finally chooses to develop the chariot, and we see that the red pawn on the 3rd rank versus the terribly placed horse in the center, in the corner, is the decisive factor in the game here. Black tries to develop the left chariot, but red simply raises the elephant. And here, black certainly can offer to trade rooks here, but after red simply connects the chariots, once again, we see that the black horse is simply a fixed target in the position. In the game, black chose to retreat the cannon, and now red is on the offensive here with this move, threatening to move to the 1st file to attack black's horse. Black prevents that with a pawn push, and now red connects the chariots, and we see that red's pieces form a picture of harmony. Black retreats the chariot, trying to defend the position, and red simply tucks the king away in safety, leaving no weaknesses in the position. What a refined move by red, and now we see that black is almost helpless. Black offers to trade cannons as he struggles to find useful moves in this position, and red has already calculated that this position is winning, so red accepts the trade and goes for advancement of the chariot to prepare to capture yet another point, attacking black's horse. Here, black puts up a desperate defense. But after successive capture of the pawn and elephant, we see that black's defense is shattered, and the black horse has no way of getting to safety whatsoever. And here, after the red pawn moves, black in fact resigns, as red threatens to play the back chariot to the third file, threatening to capture the black horse. What a dominating performance by the Super Grandmaster Su Yongzheng. I hope you have learned something interesting from this game, and feel free to subscribe, like, or leave comments. See you guys next time!